In the late 1960s, Portugal's narrow-gauge lines were all going strong, and there was only just a whiff of dieselization in the form of rail cars. There were three main systems, that in the south based at Sanada da Voga, the Douro Valley lines east of Porto, and the busy Porto suburban system, based at Trindade station. All were meter gauge. The Sanada da Voga lines ran west to Aveiro, north to Aspino, and west to Viseu. A glorious combination of tank engines were in use, ranging from tiny 260s to 2460 compounds to 282s. All these types were in regular use on passenger trains, which were usually mixed. Runs from Regior to Chaves, with a major centre en route Vila Real, the terminus for a number of trains, because Chaves is a long way north and the area bleak. Early afternoon at Vila Real sees three trains, one up from Regior terminating there, and two coming from and going to Chaves crossing. Each has a compound 2460 tank, the only motive power used on the branch. The first mixed, all trains run in this format, behind a spotless number E208, moves out to drop back in the centre road to clear the way for the next northbound train. It consists of 5 tarpaulined wagons and 2 green 6-wheel coaches neatly fitting into the loop. The 2 coaches, one a clerestory, are mostly wooden-seated, giving cheap travel to the local farmers and country folk. But first class is available, with its antique comfort, plush furnishings and antimacassars. Vila Real now becomes a busy station. Almost as soon as the southbound train comes to a halt, that from Regior comes in fast at the other end of the low platform. Passengers climb aboard, mail is unloaded from the red post vans, and the 2 trains are away almost simultaneously, one climbing up to Chaves, the other dropping down to the Douro Valley at Regior, which also has the workshops for this section. The southbound train drifts out of the station, the compound Mallet tank making easy work of the falling grades, but the twisting curves limit speed to a gentle trot, the power bogies swinging easily into the bends. This is very much vineyard and olive country, with terraced hills on either side of the tracks. Station stops are short, just time to load and unload passengers and vans. It's a neat and tidy operation. At Regior, life becomes more formal, and the Corgo branch train is relegated to a bay platform. This is very much a dual-gauge station, and in consequence, there are 2 station pilots, an aging 060 tank, number E54 for the meter gauge system, and an equally venerable French-built compound 460, working out its last days on the 5'6" The train from Vila Real is pulled out to release the 2460 tank. As this is running down to the disposal area around a dual-gauge turntable, the French compound drops a rake of coaches down into the Porto platform, ready for the broad-gauge connection to the big city. The coaches are sliding door, central entrance, modern suburban stock. Not the acme of comfort, but this is no fast intercity service. Until recent times, these broad-gauge trains were 100% steam operated, but today the diesels have arrived. and one of these will take the train west. It backs down slowly. To the left is one of the modern 284 tanks now used on the steam services, replacing the three classes of 460 which ran the trains for decades. The diesel moves off with a rumble and mutter. The new era on the Douro Valley line has begun. In fact, there's another diesel which has come in on a freight, sitting on an adjacent line, whilst we take a quick look at the modern and massive 284 tank. The 2460 tank moves onto the table, and a quick glance to the right has shown one of the old 460s still alive and working the odd train. All these roads off the turntable are multi-gauge and can be used by both meter and 5'6" gauge engines, willy-nilly. The Corgo line tank takes on coal, a laborious hand-carrying job, but labour in Portugal is cheap at present. Whilst this is going on, the 284 tank comes in with the mixed going east up the valley, which forms a connection with the evening Corgo line train being marshalled by 060 tank number E54, with a rake of open wagons to precede the coaches. At the same time, the French 460 drops extra coaches down to form the broad gauge train. The next period of activity is about to begin, for the Mallet tank is now backing into the narrow gauge bay platform, black smoke drifting lazily from her copper-capped chimney. The 284 tank moves off smartly, heading towards the Spanish border, making light of its load. It too carries its number on a brass plate fixed on each side, if one can use that term, of the chimney. The sign of the times are the electric wire warning plates carried on each of the two sand domes, for these engines are also used on the main line, which is fully electrified. As the Corgo line train moves up its twisting tracks on the journey north, it's said to reflect that soon these smart compound tanks will be ousted by diesel rail cars and diesel locos. They've served their valleys well and earned their retirement.